So a little over a month ago, I bought Helldivers 2. When it first came out, I remembered hearing so many good things about the game and how the developers understand their audience and whatever. And the only thing I remembered from the release was that the game was fun and enjoyable. So, as the good consumer I am, I first Googled if Helldivers 2 was a good purchase. Google says yes, it's a fun game to play with or without friends that offers progression, good gameplay, and most of all, free to play progression. All the stuff in the game you can just get if you play. Wow, haven't had one of those type of games in forever. So I get the game, and then after making the purchase, suddenly in my feed on YouTube start popping up some strange videos. Helldiver sucks. Helldiver is dying. What is this? Have I made a mistake? Now there are a couple of things I want to talk about even before we get into the nitty-gritty of things. When you first start playing Helldivers 2, you go through a tutorial, right? The tutorial, can I just say, does not tell you anything. It doesn't tell you how to play the game properly. There are so many things that you need to learn through just trial and error. I've been playing for about a month or so, and I only found out yesterday that to use the supply pack, the supply, you know, the one that you put on your back, to use it, you need to press down on the D-pad. Yeah, I only learned that yesterday. And to go up in the war bonds, there's like one free war bond that you get to get like new weapons and armors and stuff. You do dailies and the major orders and complete missions, right? So tell me, why in the world do daily missions not take into account what weapons you have unlocked? Why is there a daily mission that says kill 100 enemies with this specific support weapon that I don't have unlocked and I can't unlock in like 3 other days because I suck. I gotta learn how to play now. Then there are also daily requirements that they just spew words. Like, what the hell is a War Strider? Am I supposed to know what that is? Now, the thing about Helldivers 2 is that the more I educate myself about the history of the game, the more I question why some of these controversies never hit my feed before. The game is objectively fun and has a lot of fans, me included. I love the game. Ever since I bought it, I just want to play because the game is fun. But the more I learn about things, the more I start to point them out within the game as well. The bugs, the unfairness of just random RNG, the just straight up bull that sometimes happens that you can't deal with yourself. And I learned that it's just the devs. The devs do this. They let it fly, and they've been known to let this fly. They've been also known to hide so many things from the players that impact the gameplay. The developers of the game, they're not seen well from the community, at least from what I can tell from watching videos of the game's history. At times, I just, I get 2-shot because I'm in a super hell dive. That's fine, it's a super hell dive. What do I expect? But then they respawn me within the barrage that I sent into a bug tunnel breach. That has to change, right? In real life, if you send a freaking napalm barrage somewhere, you're not gonna be deploying troops there. That's off limits. Danger close, buddy. The game doesn't register these things, so it just sends you in to death, certain death. And I mean, I eventually finished the mission, sure, but those specific moments I didn't have fun, where I could have if this was fixed. These things, you notice them. I was doing a mission one time with 3 other randoms, and one random just ended up no-clipping below the map. He just freaking slid down. He typed in chat, "Guys, I'm stuck." All the rest of us, all the other 3 Helldivers, we went to try and help him, to try and, kill him, to eliminate him so he can respawn. And we couldn't, because he was too much below the map, that even with a freaking 500 kg we couldn't kill him. So we ended up just completing the mission without him. Things like this happen a lot. And they're totally fixable. Let's not talk about all the nerfs that I've seen that strip change weapons if they're too strong, but leave or buff enemies. The most recent example I can think of that I've seen is that they buffed the armor of the the mechs and the tanks, but then they secretly buffed the faction that was most problematic for the mechs and tanks to still shoot through them like butter. So what? So why did you even do that? Like, I guess they're stronger against bugs and stuff, but the real problem lies with the other faction still. You know, some things you just can't help yourself but notice how unfair they want to make it. But the game is so good that I still want to play. I mean, I am 1 month in. That's like baby years. I want to play. I'm like level 50 now. Right now, I'm a sucker for those videos where people just solo super Helldives. Those are just so entertaining to me because they play so well. When I tried to do that myself, I don't know, it's completely different. You know, every tunnel reach, every bot drop, it's just completely different from those videos. It just seems like they're dropping 1,000 more troops than whatever the hell they're doing. You know, maybe that's because they have all the freaking war bonds they want. They have all the weapons, all the gadgets, all gizmos, all everything. Recently, they revealed the Warhammer war bond, and as a new player, I was just kind of disappointed. I was expecting a lot more from a war bond so awaited as Warhammer. You know, there's so much room for improvement that the community just makes known, but the devs and studio, they just close their ears. They just don't want to hear it. And that's, I think, the biggest problem with the game. There's such a disconnect between what the community wants and what the community desires and what the studio thinks. Because this game, like, I think it has over 50,000 players concurrent between all platforms. But it could have like 100k minimum if the game was actually good. If the game was tweaked to perfection, if the bugs were fixed, if they actually put in some effort into what the community wants, I feel like the game would thrive like never before. And that's from a new player's perspective. I mean I don't know the ins and outs of the game, but I still notice things. So what do the veterans say? I mean, as a new player, each time I finish a mission, I salute my comrades, and they do the same, because you know, it's respectful. This game is about respect. It's about patriotism. It's about humanity against everybody else. So in a way, it's us against them. But them, to me, right now feels like us against the studio. I don't know how to feel about this. I think I've said enough. I don't really know if my opinion matters that much in the grand scheme, but I wanted to say it either way, because this is how I feel, and I hope I'm not the only one that feels like this, because things can improve and the game can be 1,000 times better than it is right now. It feels like there's just a roadblock because the studio just doesn't want to hear it. That's all. See you.